Good morning. My name is Lad Smith. I am the PSBA president for 2022 and 23, and we're here at our spring show for this season. Just opening up our club again after post-pandemic, doing in-person functions. Show for 2022. Behind me are some of the outstanding plants that we have from our members that have donated their trees for this show and stuff, including this beautiful black pine from Dan Robinson from the Landon Gardens. Look at the stature of this one and the short needles. Absolutely beautiful trees. Come on down and check them out. Look at this tree, beautiful Japanese larch. Estimated age is probably 18 years, but it's only been trained for 6 years, and it's really coming along to be a beautiful tree. Field grown initially, and then put into the bonsai pot. This little tree is a Zelkova, beautiful plant that was actually styled by Michael Hagedorn over several years for our club in 2011 and 2012. The tree was about 3 times the size when it was originally brought in, and it's been brought down, and now it's getting more refined and ramified over years' time. Beautiful tree. And this tree, a beautiful blue atlas cedar. Probably about 30 years old estimated, but it's been grown as a bonsai in this cascade style for about 24 years. But look at just how beautiful that tree has turned out. Look at this phenomenal specimen. Coral bark, Japanese black pine, estimated about 75 years old. Really getting into some nice refinement right now and getting the shorter needles. Give it a couple more years, this will be a phenomenal plant. Beautiful example of a Chinese elm. About 60 years old, been trained for about 50 years as a bonsai, and we were told that when they were carving out some of the scars, they actually found rocks down in the Nabari part of the root system. So really, really beautiful tree. Another beautiful example of a Japanese larch. Larches are deciduous, so they lose all their needles during the winter time, but it's just putting out its new spring growth. This tree, we're not sure how old it is, but it's only been trained for 10 years. Kind of shows you how far you can come in a very short period of time with some of these trees. Look at this tree, Shimpaku juniper, absolutely gorgeous. Probably 40 plus years old, 20 years is training. Beautiful shari, which is the dead wood that's in the trunk. This is a fantastic tree. So one of the things that are great about springtime with all plants is just the flowering. And look at this azalea right here in full bloom. This was actually dug from someone's yard and then turned into a bonsai, probably 50 or plus years old. And just look how gorgeous this trunk is. Look at this guy. One of the most popular trees to grow for bonsai is Enoki cypress, and this is a fantastic example of one. And just look at this pot also, so fantastic pairing of a tree and a pot to give you a really nice look for your bonsai. If Japanese black pines are the kings of bonsai, maples are the queens of bonsai. Not only with the fall foliage and the winter silhouette, but the new foliage that comes out in springtime, the colors are phenomenal. This tree is about 30 years old, and a beautiful pot again, great pairing of tree and pot. Here we go with a beautiful example of an Ezo spruce in a group setting. Look at those little trees. Probably 20 to 60 years old is what this is estimated. These trees are aged and really nicely done on a slab this time instead of putting it in a pot.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and this is my Shimpaku juniper. I've been training this for 6 years, and I've been doing bonsai for 7, so the reason why I have this tree is because I was killing a lot of trees, so I was like, okay, I gotta spend some money and then just keep the tree alive. So it's live, and now I just I just styled this literally a month ago. But yeah, I mean, it's my only finished bonsai that I have in my collection right now. Everything else is in development.
Okay, very cute little tree, a Chinese quince. This one's only been training for 4 years. So again, you can see how fast sometimes you can get a plant to really start turning into a nice bonsai over time. And again, beautiful pot. Look at this pot by Vicky Chamberlain. Really, really nice combination of tree and pot.
Hi guys, my name is Tony Fajarillo. I'm one of the PSBA officers, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of these trees. This is a Hinoki Sokomo that was originally grown by Tak Yamura from Vancouver, BC. And this particular one is roughly about 30 years old. It's been in training roughly about 12 years old. It's a beautiful informal upright tree and just the right size for me. I actually own one of these as well and finally found what the name of it, and I'm excited because it's got great nibari. Look at that trunk movement and that trunk, the bark on this is amazing. This is a pretty well developed tree because it's got some rounded top and it's got some tight foliage. This is a Acer palmatum, Japanese maple. It's kind of the standard Japanese maple. It's just fully leafed out, and look at this beautiful red margin on this. It's on a Mimoji handmade pot, beautiful glazing, and I'd say what I really like about this whole composition is how the color of the pot kind of contrasts some of that nice foliage of it. The trunk has great movement on this tree for a deciduous maple that's upright. So beautiful tree. Yeah, this is a Japanese larch. Estimated age about 20 years, although it looks a lot older than what they say it is, but beautiful foliage, especially this time of the year. That chartreuse color, it just really pops with the gnarly bark. The choice of pot on this is excellent. I think that it complements the tree really well. And look at that nibari, it's amazing on this tree. So another beautiful tree from one of our PSBA members. Now this is a Chinese elm. Age is unknown, but it's been in bonsai training for about 21 years. What's amazing about this is from the ground up, you see this gnarly stuff here. It's actually part of the tree. It may have been part of the root system or what, but I think that this right over here has a lot of character, plus added movement, and just the way that the whole thing is trained into more of an umbrella look. It's amazing. Here's a really nice blueberry that it's probably been in training for only a couple of years, so it's pretty good for that. But it's roughly about 6 years old, and it's already got some flowers in it that will eventually turn into blueberry fruits, and it's edible. On this side, we've got Corokia cotoneaster or wire netting bush. This one is naturally great for bonsai because of the small leaves. This one is about in training for about 1 year, 1 years old, 1 year, and it's on its way to becoming a great bonsai. This is a ponderosa pine. Look at this amazing trunk. Okay, it looks like there's a python wrapping around a tree on this one. I don't know how old this might be, but I would estimate somewhere between 200 years old and 300 years old probably. It's a big tree, and it's just the right scale for a ponderosa because ponderosa tends to have longer needles, and so this is just a perfect scale for that. Believe it or not, it's only been in training as a bonsai for about 1 year. So mostly Mother Nature did most of this training. You can't replicate this, by hand. So amazing tree. Another great tree from one of our PSBA members. All right, this is a mountain hemlock. I've got a lot of favorites in the show, but this is probably one of my favorites. I love mountain hemlocks because, well, first of all, the tiny needles, and look at the trunk movement of this tree. I mean, there are 3 trunks on this tree that are moving in similar directions. And the way the foliage is all now padded out on this is just amazing. And this has been in training as a bonsai for about 15 years. Age is unknown, but I would have to say this is probably close to over 100 years old. I have other trees that are a lot younger than this, and this one is it's an amazing tree. Yeah, this is an amazing Japanese crab apple. The fact that being this small with all these flowers I think is amazing. Whoever put this together. It's been in bonsai training for about 5 years, and this was started as an air layer back in 2015. So yeah, I mean, it's a great little tree. I mean, I would love to have something like that. And the pot that they use is also nice, and the subtle blue on it really complements the tree. So I love this tree. This is Satsuki Azalea, and it's about a 30-year-old tree, and it's been in bonsai training since 28 years ago. So I'm sure the flowers are beautiful on this, but look at the trunk movement, and this in particular has a cherry in the trunk of it. Just a beautiful tree in general as far as the way it moves, the padding, and there it is.
Howdy-do. I'm Ed, and I'm here today at Mother's Day weekend at one of the best bonsai museums on the West Coast. In fact, the best bonsai museum on the West Coast, Pacific Bonsai Museum. And after a 2-year layover, I finally get to present once again a Mame display with the club, Puget Sound Bonsai Association. So I've been doing bonsai for about 25, 30 years. I don't know, I can't keep track. A long time, and I had a member that got me started on this, a member Rosie, and Rosie could do just incredible things with Mame, and I learned a little from her, and I've been growing these little trees ever since. So I like all the species. I like things that flower. I especially like being able to collect pots. I love being able to collect all the display paraphernalia that goes with it, and all the various trees. So think about this guy. He's in pretty much an older pot, and this is one that's going to be moved up. This is going to be a mother and a child eventually. This branch will come up, and it'll be right up in here. So I'm going to keep that going one of these days. This is going to be a real nice mother and daughter, as I call it, bonsai. And I like doing, like I said, the Japanese maples. This is a real nice tree. This is about a 7-year-old tree, and this has been going for quite a while, and it's a nice little tree. Let's talk about this shimpaku. This shimpaku has been in this pot for 6 years, 7 years now. Because it's so root bound, it literally is in water up to here all the time. I also foliar feed it. The care of most of the Mame is pretty extensive, especially in the summertime. It has to be watered at least twice a day. If you leave these things in the sun for more than 2 or 3 hours, you're not going to have a mame anymore. You're going to have a crispy critter. And that's exactly what happens if you do leave it. So wintertime's great. You get to go south and do whatever you want to do, but maintenance is all the time on these. You have to constantly keep track of them. They're worse than dogs and kids, but they're a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding for all the wonderful comments I've got today, and all these people standing around me with cameras. This is too much fun. So let's talk about stones now. One of my big interests is Suiseki, or American viewing stones. And this is a perfect example of a waterfall stone. It's a natural stone out of the Still-Squamish River, and you can always tell because all the waterfall is in the front and not so much in the back. Hand-carved Daisa out of American walnut, and it's a great accompaniment for this selection now. We sit this right up on top, and you've got a wonderful little waterfall stone sitting right up next to the trees, trickling down and giving you that nice cool feeling.
And we're going to be looking at a few of my trees today that are on display at the Pacific Bonsai Museum. And just over here nearby is a blouse juniper. This is a tree that I've bought very few trees that had already been trained as bonsai, but this is one of them, but it had been neglected for many years. And so I've been working on this for probably the last 12 years or so, and it's taken very well to our climate. It's taken very well to my particular environment at home, and so I'm pleased with its progress. We're looking at a Japanese black pine. This is a tree that I started down in New Orleans back in the late 80s. I got it as a 5-gallon nursery plant, and it started out as pretty much a stick with one branch. And so over the years it's done quite well and developed quite a bit, and I really enjoy this tree now. Okay, we're going to look at a tree that I've had the longest. It's not a tree actually, it's a grove of Chinese elms. This was given to me as a bunch of 1-year-old seedlings that a fellow member of the Greater New Orleans Bonsai Society scooped up in a single shovel full of soil. And so this was back in 1976 when he gave me these, and they're all the same age. But by trimming, they've developed, to be different sizes and to create this grove. It started out as 11 seedlings. I lost one along the way, but then one of the trees grew 3 root sprouts or suckers, and I've left those in on the far left as part of the composition. So now it's a little grove of 13 trees. Alright, this is a bald cypress that I collected in Louisiana. Actually, not Louisiana, I take that back. I collected this near Pearl River, Mississippi. It came out of a beaver pond, and the beavers had chewed it off twice. It was clear that there had been 2 different water levels when they cut it down. And so one area was just about where this middle branch is, the little tiny branch poking out front, was chewed off there. and then where the top of the tree is now. When I found it, it was already hollow trunk because it had been in the pond for quite a while. It had been damaged for quite a while, and so the dead wood that you see on it is natural to the tree. What we're looking at here is coast redwood. This was originally a root from a tree. It's now rooted, let's say, on both ends. It was raised up to make it into an arch. And so my idea when I first saw this was to allow it to sprout a sort of a mini forest of trees on it, so that it became a sort of landform, so that the stump of the tree became a landform and the grove is atop that. I didn't realize until much later that this is also a style of tree in China where it's called bridge style, and it is often set in a setting where there's a water feature beneath it. And so I decided that that's what I would do with this tree, was to create a sort of what some people might call a cycay, or a landscape planting, by putting in some small shrubs and a stream that runs under the arch of the bridge. Well, I found this Enoki cypress in a nursery down near Woodland, Washington. It was in a sales area, and when I saw it, I thought I would make a formal upright out of it. It was so densely branched I couldn't really see the entire trunk, and it was balled and burlapped inside a big pot, so I didn't really see the base of the trunk. I bought it on faith, and when I got it home and started removing some branches to thin it out so I could see, I discovered it had 2 right angle bends in the trunk. So it was nothing like what I needed to create a formal upright. So I decided to just go with it. I've been to China several times, and I was aware of a style called square turns. And it's usually just a few branches or a few bends in the trunk that are right angles. I decided to take this to the nth degree and turn everything into a right angle and make it simply an abstract design. Okay, this boxwood was dug up from a landscape by a friend of mine down in New Orleans, and I purchased it from him as a piece of collected material. So I've had this now for about 30 years, maybe a little more than that, and it's got kind of that live oak tree style. Living down in New Orleans, of course, the whole landscape is filled with live oak trees, which in many cases are broader than they are tall. And I'll eventually lower the height of this tree a little bit to accentuate the idea of its width. In the meantime, I did something that many people will find unusual, which is adding a figurine to the bonsai, and I've taken my cue in this case from Chinese penjing, in which figurines are often used to make a comment on a tree, in this case referring to the tree as a source of shelter for the people enjoying the day underneath. Alright, this English yew was got by me as nursery stock. I intended to use it for a demonstration at a convention, but it turned out to be surplus material. So what I've done in this case is simply develop it using the tree's own beginning lines, and developed a bit of what we call shari, or exposed trunk coming down the front, really as a means of accentuating the flow of the trunk. Also, you'll notice the branches are handled in such a way as to provide a good sense of balance. And what I mean by that is the branches opposite the lean have a slightly downward tilt. The branches in the direction of the lean are more horizontal. And this gives a greater sense of stability than if all the branches were downswept equally.